Hey everybody, welcome to my Warhammer Fantasy lore series. In this episode, I am delving into the life and legacy of one of the darkest figures in Warhammer world, Nagash, the Supreme Lord of the Undead. From his early life to his reign of terror and eventual resurrection. Nagash's story is filled with dark magic, betrayal, and the quest for ultimate power. So let's dive in. Nagash's tale begins in the ancient kingdom of Nehekhara, where he was born as the firstborn son of King Ketep of Khemri around the year 2000 IC. From a young age, Nagash displayed remarkable ambition and a thirst for power. When his father fell ill during the campaign against the Lizardmen, Nagash took command, leading the army to victory. However, when King Ketep recovered, he dismissed Nagash's brief rule and assigned a fortress city to another general, hinting at the tension that would grow between father and son. As the ambitious heir, Nagash joined the Nehekhara mortuary cult, rising rapidly to become the youngest high priest in history by the age of 32. His fascination with necromancy grew, driven by a desire to find the means to achieve immortality. Despite his exalted rank, he craved even greater power, and the arrival of a group of Dark Elf captives provided the catalyst for his descent into darker magic. One Dark Elf sorceress reluctantly shared her knowledge and revealed secrets about manipulating the winds of magic and harnessing the dark energies. Nagash learned that magic could be wielded directly by mortals, without reliance on the Nehekhara gods. This revelation changed the course of his life, leading him to embrace necromancy with fervor. With his newfound knowledge, Nagash was ready to seize control. After the death of his father, Nagash's brother Tuept became the ruler of Khemri. But Nagash's lust for power drove him to usurp the throne. He buried Tuept alive in his father's tomb and claimed the throne for himself, establishing a reign of terror that would forever change Nehekhara. Nagash's rule was marked by brutality and tyranny. He gathered around him a group of desolate nobles and necromancers, chief among them Archon the Black. Nagash forced countless slaves to build the Great Pyramid in Khemri, known as the Black Pyramid of Nagash, a monument to his dark ambition. He experimented with necromancy, creating the elixir of life to extend his own life and the lives of his closest followers. The 9 books of Nagash, written in human flesh and inked with blood, contained his dark knowledge and became coveted artifacts of necromancy power. Nagash's cruelty extended to those closest to him. He manipulated Nehekhara, his brother's widow, into a life of unending misery by murdering her son and forcing her to drink the elixir of life made from her son's blood. This twisted act cut Nehekhara priests off from their god, and when the priests attempted to assassinate Nagash by setting him ablaze in his Black Pyramid, he retaliated with a devastating spell that killed all the priests in Nehekhara not shielded by stone. The ruthless acts of Nagash's reign provoked a rebellion amongst the kings of Nehekhara. The first to rise against him was King Amenhotep of Kasaba, leading us to a series of bloody battles. Nagash's mastery of necromancy allowed him to raise undead armies, while the Nehekhara kings relied on divine blessings to combat his dark forces. Despite fierce resistance, Nagash's armies proved nearly unstoppable, turning fallen soldiers into undead minions. The war culminated in the siege of Marhak, when Nagash faced a coalition of Nehekhara kings. After a decade-long siege, Nagash's allies turned against him, leading to his ultimate defeat. Although his army was obliterated and Nagash was mortally wounded, his essence fled back to the Black Pyramid, where he managed to escape into the wastelands. Nagash's defeat marked the end of his initial reign, but his story was far from over. Wandering into the wastelands, he stumbled upon the Skaven and discovered Warpstone, which he used to transform himself into a leech, granting him even more necromantic powers. He returned to the crippled peaks and built a fortress city of Nagashazar, waging war against the Skaven to control Warpstone deposits. Over the years, Nagash amassed power and forged powerful artifacts, including his wretched sword Mortis, his crown of sorcery, and his black armor. However, the prolonged exposure to Warpstone transformed him into a monstrous skeletal figure, no longer recognizable as human. Despite his gruesome transformation, his ambition and malice only grew. The Skaven eventually struck a truce with Nagash, agreeing to provide him with ore and slaves in exchange for Warpstone. This uneasy alliance would shape Nagash's future plans as he set his sights on reclaiming his power and influence. Thank you everyone for joining me in exploring the dark and twisted story of Nagash, the Supreme Lord of the Undead. Nagash's tale is a grim reminder of the perils of unchecked power and ambition. So if you enjoyed this episode, be sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell to stay up to date with our Warhammer Fantasy lore series. Leave a comment below with your thoughts on Nagash or any other Warhammer Fantasy character you would like me to cover next. Until then, stay safe in the grim world of Warhammer Fantasy, and I will see you all in the next episode.